All right, back to the starters. Skeets, Tass, Lee, and Trey. We're into our goods. And the first one, as discussed earlier, Allen Iverson, all 6 feet, 165 pounds of him, earned the reputation as one of the greatest pound-for-pound basketball players of all time. So much so that, in fact, they gave him a championship belt, a WWE belt with that on it. Inspired by this line of thinking, though, CSN Washington tweeted a great question to their followers during Friday's Wizards-Sixers game, and I want to throw it at everyone at the table here and everyone watching and listening, and you can let us know your answer with the hashtag #TheStarters. Who are the best or your favorite undersized players of all time?
To me, it starts with Dennis Rodman, because I loved watching him go to either end of the floor, because you know he was going to give it at either end of the floor. As a fan, you could watch. He would not take any possessions off. We know he burned the candle on both ends, but he burned pretty brightly on the basketball floor. And I just love watching rebounders myself, and he made rebounding such a show. He was a shutdown defender, and there just weren't many of them back then. I mean, he just did so many things on the basketball floor despite scoring. And it helped, obviously, because he didn't have to score at all. He just had to stand around and help guys out. But it was a great thing to watch for me.
What about you, Lee?
What you described about Dennis Rodman could similarly be said about Ben Wallace, who was listed at 6'9", about 240, and he played centre for the Detroit Pistons in those early 2000 teams where they were really good. Went to the finals in 2004 and 05, won it in 04. This guy was unwanted and undrafted, and he turned out to be a 4-time All-Star, a 5-time All-NBA, second and third teams. He holds the record for the most games ever played by an undrafted guy, and he's likely to be the first player ever undrafted to go to the Hall of Fame as well. He's got the resume there. And considering he never averaged 10 points a game, he was a 4-time All-Star. That just shows how important his defense was.
6'9", but when he had the fro blown out.
Yeah, it was just like
He's over 7 feet at least. What about you, Trey?
You can't make this list without Tyrone Bugues.
No, for sure.
And that's why I'm choosing Tyrone.
Who?
Muggsy Bugues. Do I remember a single Muggsy Bugues thing on the basketball court? Not really, but that doesn't matter because he's a cultural icon just from being the smallest guy to ever play in the league. And he also came about, a lot of his fame came when he was with the Hornets, and they were the most popular team in the league. He's the kind of player your sister would have his jersey, and that's pretty impressive for a guy who's 5'3". And here's a pro tip. When you're moving, label your box of coffee mugs Muggsy Bugues. You'll remember what they are, and then when you open it up, you'll have a smile because it says Muggsy.
Excellent. 5'3". It's still difficult to wrap your head around.
It is incredible. Like, we saw him at All-Star Weekend last year, and you can't believe that a guy that is that size is an NBA player.
It's unbelievable. It really is.
141 pounds. Is he the best pound-for-pound player of all time? Lee, I'm asking you, the boxing pro, if that's where the term comes from.
I don't know, but my wife is 5'2", and I can't believe she could be playing
That's what I mean. When you start thinking about it like that way, it's
Yeah.
crazy. She's not 140 pounds, though.
No.
All right. I'm going, mine's an obvious
personal.
pick. Mine's an obvious pick. Charles Barkley. I think he's at the top of most people's list when you're talking undersized players.
He's not 140 pounds either.
They had him listed as 6'6", and for whatever reason we do on the screen as well, he wasn't 6'6".
No.
He was much closer, they say, to 6'4".
I would agree with that.
And
6'4" and 3/4, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, Trey, you basically see eye to eye to him.
Yeah, and I'm 6'4", 3/4. I only round up to 6'5", though.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So Barkley makes my list. But again, that's a question for everyone watching and listening. Let us know, #TheStarters, your favorite or best undersized players. I think Wes Unseld is going to get some votes, a 6'7" center.
Crazy.
Very, very small, but very, very talented.